A few weeks had passed since the Virus 8-bit reskin had came out, and since a few weeks had passed, I've seen the skin, I've looked at footage of it, and I've had my thoughts on collecting how the skin is, and if I'll be really honest with you, it's hot garbage, in my opinion. I just think the skin's really lazy, I think the colors are really bad, and I'll be explaining that throughout the entire video. Now, as far as I know, Virus 8-bit is one of the only 300 gem skins and one of the most popular skins in the game that is exclusive. A lot of players, including me, did not and were not able to get this skin. So the fact when I heard that Virus 8-bit was going to get a reskin, I was pretty excited. But when I saw it, you could imagine how my reaction was. Very disappointed if you haven't figured out. So why do I exactly hate the Virus 8-bit reskin? Well, if I'll be honest, it's mainly due to the colors. I just think the skin is entirely the definition of lost potential. Now, I do have to point out, and it's that I am aware that Brawl Stars is still experimenting with bringing back exclusive skins and reskinning them, which, good on them, because I do believe that giving newer players the opportunity to have a taste and experience of what the OG skin might feel like is really good, and that's actually a pretty good marketing strategy. However, I do believe that their biggest plunder might be the Virus 8-bit reskin, and that solely has to do with the colors and just the general, laziness, which the laziness is a nitpick, but I'll get to that. The general laziness with the skin. Now, in terms of the color, and this is entirely personal taste and a very personal take, I just don't like it. I think that when I hear the words antivirus 8-bit, I think of, white, blue, red type of colors. Things that fit, antivirus type of colors. Now, when I see this color scheme, I'm just looking at it and going like, oh, what is this supposed to be based out of? Virus 8-bit clearly has a direction it was trying to go for. Antivirus 8-bit just feels kind of random, I guess. Now, there might be like 50 layers of meaning behind the antivirus color scheme, and to be honest, to a casual like me, I probably wouldn't be able to pick up on it. They could have very easily just made this skin into make his eyes blue or his entire body white, and that probably would have just sold just as well, if not even better than the original Fire's 8-bit skin, because it just looks cool. But they didn't, and that kind of sucks. In terms of general laziness, I've been looking through the footage of Antivirus 8-bit, and there's just a lot of, meshes that's been used. Like when he's placing down his little damage dispenser thing, I don't know what it's called. It's literally the same colors as the original Virus 8-bit skin, which is honestly very lazy, considering they probably had a few months to do this, and definitely had to have thought about this, but they didn't change it. This, again, as I said, is a very small nitpick, but it really does take down the quality of this being a 300 gem skin. Now, you might argue that, oh, but the OG players are gonna feel bad for having the shittier version of the Virus 8-bit skin, if the new one's so much better. And to that I say, well, first of all, they have the OG version of the skin. They already have a layer of exclusivity and specialty that newer players don't. And second of all, it's just a common practice for a lot of gaming companies that do reskin skins, like Apex Legends, for example, to make their original skins generally worse than the reskins. Now, I don't like EA or Apex Legends, but if I'll be honest, their versions of reskins is actually pretty smart, because how they approach it is that they make the reskins usually better, and this isn't a bad practice. It is a little scummy, which is bad. Let's ignore that. But this is a genuinely good idea, because this means that the new players and the older players, or just their consumers or customers, are more interested in getting the skins because, you want to look good in the game. Now, the problem with Virus 8-bit over here is that if you're gonna release quote-unquote reskins of, like, let's say, Werewolf Leon. Look, what I'm trying to say is that if you're gonna release reskins like White Werewolf Leon and Hoothoot Shelly, which are completely different models and just entirely different on its own, but then you release a literal reskin of a 300 gem skin, if the only 300 gem skin that's an exclusive and you can't get, it only comes back yearly, it definitely does impact consumer or customer or player, player's interest in getting the skin. Now, I'd like to point out is that I'm not a game designer, game developer, or anything, but if you want to pass with the colors, then I'm fine with that. I'd still get the skin myself personally because it just looks cool. But what I was going to say was that if you're gonna make a reskin Supercell, then maybe changing up the animations might be a good idea. I know that it's a reskin and not much effort must be put into it, but I do definitely feel like this is probably your biggest blunder compared to your other reskins. Like, I'm not kidding. I think Ferocious Fang and all the other reskins that came out there. I'm not going to include White Werewolf and Hutu Chili in this because those two aren't even reskins in my opinion. I don't even know why they call it a reskin. These are completely remodels and just an improved version of the skins. But as I was saying, if you are going to make reskins of 300 gem skins again, I think changing up the animations a little bit would be nice in my opinion. But that's about wraps it up for the video. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe. Comment down below if you like the antivirus 8-bit skin, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.